Remind me at some point to tell you about the Flintstones Park outside of the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a thing. Anyway, this is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
We're going to talk about a story sent in by Alik the Golfer Evans.
Alik the Golfer Evans.
Yep. Coming through
nicknames
again.
reset in 2018.
Was that so?
No, that's not so. I was just trying to give myself an out for not remembering all these nicknames.
I hadn't read the rule book recently. So.
Nobody reads the rule book anymore, Jeff.
It's clearly.
Nobody reads the rule book. You can just do whatever you want in the dead of night.
Don't get me started.
So maybe nicknames reset. I don't know.
Maybe. Alik the Golfer Evans, who at least is the golfer for another month, sent in the story from The Guardian UK. Mm-hmm. This is about the fact that 12...
As opposed to The Guardian Brazil, the other paper.
Yeah, which is very different.
It's a very different Guardian.
A lot more pictures of parades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful paper.
Beautiful.
But has very little to do with The Guardian UK. We want to make sure that you guys don't get those mixed up.
So it turns out that 10 of the 12 total water companies that service the UK, these are utilities, public utilities that service the UK, 10 of 12, so the vast majority, admitted that they are still using the practice of water dowsing to find water sources.
Oh, this is like an Avatar. You're a water bender. You can control the water.
You're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, everybody that works for the UK utilities program has the ability.
Yes.
To
water bend
and create structures and move water.
Right. And they're still looking for the last airbender.
Right. Because I know that they're talking about that because they can't be talking about water dowsing in terms of divining rods because that's fucking stupid.
Well, it turns out it's fucking stupid.
Okay, cool.
They're using a practice which has been repeatedly debunked by science.
So divining rods are you hold basically a wishbone shaped stick.
Yeah.
And you walk around with it looking because the stick wants to find water.
The stick wants water.
Stick need water.
Stick get water.
So stick need water to become tree.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how tree work.
Yeah.
You plant a stick and it turns into a tree. And stick need water to become tree, so stick will lead you to tree.
Right.
Do I understand the science behind this?
You do, but we've come a long way since stick, Anthony. Actually, evidently, they still use stick sometimes, but they also use tiny L-shaped metal rods. I don't understand how metal want water.
Metal definitely want water.
It do?
It real do. So what you do is you hold metal and you whisper to it, thirsty?
And it start pointing towards water.
Oh. When Tara and I did Three Scientists Walk Into a Bar, they took us somewhere in Alabama where someone was showing us their divining rod, and it was basically our job to like stand politely
and not say anything.
While this person tried to explain divining rods to us and like explain like the different why this metal works better than this metal, and it was like, oof. Ooh, it was bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was bad.
Well,
and I think they wanted, like, this is one of those things where the producers of the show, like, initially set this up thinking that I would just, like, Tara and I would just, like, decimate this person on camera, like, be real, like, snarky and rude to them. But that's not really how Tara and I are.
Right.
So it was
you're like standing in this guy's yard.
We're standing in this person's yard, like, while they're showing us what they do and believe.
Yeah.
And, like, we were very gently going, but what about,
Yeah.
But yeah, so go into like tell us a little bit more about the water dowsing.
Well, so just so we're clear, repeatedly many tests have shown that there is no difference between pure chance and water dowsing for your chance to find water because
why would there be?
Because why would there be? It's not anything.
What is the central belief that leads people to think that this works?
Because it was done in the olden times, I guess, and that's how people like who superstitious people found water.
What will happen is they will build onto that, right? So it happened in olden times. Why did it happen in old times? So people will be like, oh, well, you have to use this particular type of metal because it has this property because of this.
Right. Well, here's what happens, I think, and this is, whatever. What I think happens is anything that is essential to life, i.e. finding water, you have a house in the middle of nowhere, getting a well that has water in it is essential to the survival of your family and loved ones. Anything that is that essential to life inherently will create superstition around it because you need it so bad. And if there's one season where you don't have water or the water dries up, there's going to be some shuckster who comes strolling into your town and goes, hey, I have the solution. All you got to do is pay me the dollars and I'll show you how to find the water. I'll save everybody. And so there's these myths that are created where nonsense gets ingrained into culture because people want to believe so much. There's rain dances because you need the rain or else we're all going to die. There's, superstition is built around these things that we require to live. So I think that's how it becomes ingrained in tradition and culture. It's not just like, oh, it worked a few times. It's some fucking guy was selling a bill of goods, was selling a lie to everybody.
Yes, sure. But I guess what I'm asking is, what is the practice of water dowsing now? I want to tell people what it is. Yeah. So they understand what
So the idea is
believe.
you hold these two metal rods that are L-shaped, one in each hand, and you walk around slowly the area that you're looking for water underneath the ground, and when you hit a place where there's water deep under the ground, the rods will cross.
Yeah.
And that X marks the spot. That's where you dig for water. Water be down there.
Right. And there are different. Sometimes it's coat hangers. Sometimes it's keys. Sometimes it's lengths of wire.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be any one particular metal.
Right.
Depending on like what books or articles you read about water dowsing, it's don't wear rubber shoes because it messes with the conductivity.
Because it's all nonsense and malarkey.
Or do wear rubber shoes. All the time because it helps to stop your personal electricity from interfering with
whatever you were doing the time it didn't work.
Right.
Is
whatever
the wrong
socks
thing.
you were wearing the last time your team won
exactly
are the socks that you should be wearing. What's crazy is, and this is one of those things where it's been around for 2,000 years.
Right.
And because it's been around, it keeps getting changed and rewritten to be updated so people continue to believe it. The people who don't believe it, or the people who do believe it, will tell you it's never been conclusively debunked. And the reason it's never been conclusively debunked is because of the rubber shoes thing. It's
There's
constantly
always a new
changing.
reason. Yeah.
There's always a new reason to say why something didn't work.
Yeah, and sometimes it does work, but science is saying, well, yeah, if you
statistically
throw a pebble and where it lands, you dig for water, sometimes there's going to be water there.
Well, and I would say that's why I sell pebbles.
Right.
Specific pebbles.
Anthony's water pebbles.
My water pebbles.
Yeah.
Now, water dowsing using a divining rod
That's
is obvious.
nonsense.
That's huckster, shyster bullshit, like we just said.
Right.
Water pebbles are different, though, because water pebbles are made of rare earth elements. And the thing about rare earth elements is
They're
they
rare?
are naturally connected due to their rarity to the center of the earth. They vibrate at a certain frequency, which will allow them to always fly with the least amount of air resistance towards water.
Oh, so it's not guided by God's hand. It's literally science.
No.
We're talking science
this
here.
This is good, hard science. My water pebbles are, of course, 100% proven to work in cases where they've worked, and you can get them for just $37 a sack. A sack of pebbles? A sack of pebbles.
Are they one-time use?
A sack. They are one-time use.
Oh,
once you throw them, because what happens is it's like a magnet. Every time they hit the ground, they lose a little bit of magnetism.
Right.
Water pebble hits ground once. You find water and then you can't use it again. If you don't find water, of course, you probably threw it wrong. Be sure to follow the instructions.
Yeah.
Also, a sack means 2 pebbles in a tiny bag.
This instruction booklet says
$87.
Throw pebble toward water. That's literally the extent of the instructions.
Yeah, and then when you do, it will find it.
Okay.
Anyway, $87.
I'm in.
You're gonna love
these. I can't believe you found all these rare pebbles.
It was tough. But I used science to find them. I used divining rods.
Good. Well done.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Only science can find science. What is dead can never die.
Only science can find science. That's true.
Why are these public utility companies using this?
That's the disturbing part. 10
and
of 12.
What are they using them for? They're the utility company. They know where the water main is.
So this has caused quite a stir because people are like, you're using our dollars to pay Huckster Joe to come in here and try to find water.
Are these full-time employees, or are they hiring consultants to come in with divining rods?
I don't think you have a diviner.
Is this a Long
staff.
Island medium situation, but for water?
Yeah. Oh, this show, the diviner of the Southern United Kingdom. That's what we're gonna pitch. It's gonna be good.
Oh God,
I love this quote. The company said, "We have found some water using some of the older methods, and we've found that they are just as effective as new ones. But don't worry, we do use drones as well, and now satellites. So, little bit of divining rod, bit of drones and satellites.
What you do is 2 hooks on the bottom of the drone, and you put 2 keys, and you fly the drone. And when the keys cross, this is that you know that there was water there, and this is the newest, best instrumentation we have to offer. There is no reason to do geological surveys. There is no reason to do satellite imaging. There is no reason to even consult previous maps that you may have made and then find where the water flows from the tributaries you already know. Because we have these drones.
The drones really are the key. And the key is the key.
Yeah, the key is the key.
But the drone is the key master.
On the drone, yeah. And the drone is sort of the gatekeeper and the key master.
Yeah.
It's very scientific, and eventually the Heralds of Zool will Gozer, the Gozerian. I don't want to go into it. It's a lot of science, as explained in the film Ghostbusters.
So these people are very upset. They feel like there should be a law passed that says you can't use nonsense with our I guess tax dollars or our federal fund or our state funds here. There's a specialist in water management at Leeds University School of Biology says this isn't a technique, it's witchcraft.
Yeah.
And he says, we work with water companies to enhance sustainability. We can understand why they're doing this. They're very pissed off.
Of course they are.
I would be too.
People who actually do find water are scientists called hydrologists. Hydrologists use a bunch of legit fucking science.
Yeah.
So not only do they use, like we said, geological surveys and maps, not only do they use maps of water mains and existing water flows that we already know, they use a lot of environmental clues that are real. They do things like, if there are a lot of water-hungry plants growing in a specific area, we know they're getting an excess of water from somewhere. So if we look at, say, 2 underground rivers that we already know of, and we see that there's a patch of plants in between that needs a lot of water, we can usually say, like, there must be some sort of tributary going along there. They use actual environmental clues. What is the clue that is given to you by dowsing? What is the divining?
Stick want water.
Stick want water, I guess.
Stick want water.
But sometimes metal want water.
If you whisper to it.
That's crazy. And I love that that these utility companies are saying, but sometimes old method work like new method. No, it does not.
Do you think that this is just like force of habit, almost like a weird thing that's been passed down generationally because these companies presumably have been around in these areas for hundreds of years? There's just they're probably servicing very rural, remote areas, and that's how they've always done it.
Of course.
It's
crazy.
Like,
if you can't find it, or like the city comes out and the city goes like, hey, we can't find this immediately. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take money. We're going to need to be on your land. We're going to need to mess with your stuff. Well, why do that when Charlie down the street has been using divining rods in his family for years, and Charlie will come and help you?
Yeah. Charlie, the son of Shuckster Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not,
That's crazy. And it's crazy that, like, the only statement that these government officials can give is like, we've been doing it. And it
works sometimes.
So, I think just like everyone else, Stick want water.
Stick want water.
I want water. You want water. Why wouldn't Stick want water? And that's that's the official government line on it.
These guys that are looking into this, they said we should be looking into it because it's a total waste of money. It's not doing any harm, but sending out somebody to a location to wave some sticks around is just not a good use of time or money.
No, how much money is going to this every year? Do they say?
Well, that's a good question. I can't imagine it's a lot, right? How much could it possibly cost?
I don't know. If one of the things about this is if you have presented yourself as an expert in a field that not many people are experts in, you make yourself a pretty good day rate.
Yeah, that's supply and demand right there.
That's supply and demand.
Scarcity of expert.
If you're desperately looking to dig a new well and you don't know where to do it on your farm, and this person is the one person in the area who can help you out, they can charge whatever they want if you believe it.
I find this incredibly depressing. The article goes into,
and that's why I would be happy to provide the UK with water pebbles at a discounted government rate.
You can undercut that. What this market needs is competition, Anthony.
Exactly. It needs competition, Jeff, but it needs somebody to shine the disinfecting light of knowledge onto some of this shuckster nonsense.
Science proves science.
Just the scienceman to do it.
That's right, with your science pebbles.
I was just in London. If I had known.
Oh, what a missed opportunity.
I could have brought some of my special pebbles with me.
Can you get those through customs?
Well, it's not comfortable, but the answer is yes. And if I previously worked with the government, I'm sure they would allow me in with them. But it's the sort of thing where, like, yeah, I can.
Oh, this guy has a strange look on his face.
Yeah,
I bet that guy has some water pebbles.
I bet that guy's got some water pebbles.
Carrying some water pebbles.
If I walk near, and here's the problem: is if you're going through customs and then you walk by a restroom or a fountain. It can be very painful.
I imagine so. And it want water.
Pebble want water, and it will be drawn to it, but only once. That's the good thing. Is it can only happen to me once.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous thing, and it's a bummer.
They go into a little bit about the actual scientific phenomenon that water dowsing is. They call it ideomotor effect, I think. Ideomotor effect. It's the phenomenon observed when an act of thinking about something unconsciously triggers muscles to move. In this case, the divining rod. So your own, it's kind of like a Ouija board, right? It's like, I'm not thinking of anything, but yet my hand is moving on its own. Well, no. There's actually an observable effect.
You are kind of, and you are sort of thinking about stuff, and your body sort of reacts to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you know where water is.
No.
It just means that something happened in your body and caused those little rods to move.
You can't believe that your mental state, like your stress, your tiredness, your emotional state, you can't believe that it affects some things in your life but not others.
Right.
Right? Like that's sort of the thing. You can't be like, oh, I know that like when I'm stressed, I get a little irritable and I naturally react like this, or like I get if I'm thinking negatively, or if I have a negative emotion, it affects my results in the gym.
Right.
Right? We know all these things.
Yes.
We know that somebody's pushing the Ouija board, whether they admit to it or know it or not.
Right.
Why would dowsing rods be any different?
It's not.
It's not is the answer. So that's science. And listen, guys, once again, if you're in British government, if you know somebody in British government, maybe you know your local MP, your parliamentary representative.
Right.
Maybe you can just let them know that I'm out there and I'm available for contracting. I want to help.
Yeah, very reasonable.
That's all I want to do is help.
I think you could probably get these things in bulk at this point. They're rare, but you have a stockpile.
You can order up to 4 of them at a time.
Yeah.
For $180, which is not a discount.
No.
It's $6 more than it would be if you bought them separately. But there's just reasons for that. So if you need to find water, if you'd like, kids love finding water. If you just want to,
it's a family fun.
It's a great
activity.
holiday gift.
Yes.
So
nothing like the gift of water.
Nothing like the gift of water and staying alive. You need water to stay alive, and you need my pebbles to find water.
It's just science.
So science finds science, guys. And if you need those, you can just head to wehaveconcerns.com/shop.
They've been up his butt.
They've been up my butt, but you can buy them. Hey, real quick before we go, if you believe in science, please do us a favor and rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Leave a review. Tell a friend about the show. All of these things are scientifically proven to make you live 5 to 10 years longer.
Oh my gosh, you want that?
Yeah, so go ahead and do all that stuff and give me money.